Welcome back. Today is our 16th video on the month of February for our Quick Strike series of demonstration videos. Today we are going to cover the intraday activity menu, or most of that menu. So let's just get started. So as is typical, I'd like to point out where we land. We're landing on the market dashboard today, the product overview. My default product for today is the Euro currency. I've been changing that throughout this video series to get everybody a look at the different products. Some may be more comfortable with others than with some products than others. So I just want to make sure I spread it out throughout the suite of coverage that we have. So anyway, let's take a look at what we have. So intraday activity. This is named, so it's supposed to be obvious in terms of telling you this is what's going on today, right now. Okay, so we have 5 items here: ATM updates, market data, volume chart, volume matrix, and block trades. This is just a launch off into the CME Group's block trade page. We're working to try to get that integrated more thoroughly into Quick Strike, but we just aren't at that point just yet. But if you ever want to see what's going on or when the system's been updated, here's where you want to come and take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at ATM updates, or at the money updates. Again, at the money is the strike closest to the underlying. So when we get in here, you're going to see us. We're going to come into a page that has at the money straddle updates here, and we're going to be showing open, high, low, and last. Okay, in terms of what the at the money price was, what the strike was, where the future was when we did that theoretical, the implied volatility calculation, and what time that occurred. Okay. Right now you see that we have weeklies showing as well as the rest of the expiration, so we can change what we're showing here. So let's get rid of the weeklies and just show our regular expiration, since that's generally what's trading in the currency here. And outside of the open, high, low, and last, we also have little mini charts. So this is going to tell us how the volatility has moved throughout the day, and if you hover over it, you'll see how the number comes up, and then if the at the money strike has changed. So it gives you an idea of both vol strike and then what the future's doing. So it's an easy way to sort of get a quick look at what a particular expiration has done throughout the day so far. So if we look at our view settings, again, an icon with some text, right? We can see that what we have checked. So we have these four boxes, 3 of which are checked. So you can also check this box to show a chart of the at the money price as well. And then you'll see that under display section, there's a compact mode. So if I uncheck this and say OK or apply, now you're going to see all of the updates that occurred throughout the day. So as we've mentioned before, we start some pre-open updates and do updates every half hour throughout the day. And currently these are straddle runs, right? So straddle runs means we look at whatever the current at the money strike is, determine the new implied volatility from the market price, and then shift the curve up or down based on the volatility difference from right now to where it was at settlement. Okay, as we've mentioned, at some point we may do full curve fittings and then repopulate the whole curve. I mean, we are to that point from a technical standpoint. We just haven't decided whether we're going to push it to the professional version or not just yet. So again, you can see where this has taken place, and you see yesterday, since it was a holiday, you're seeing some while Globex was open, and then you see again when Globex is open, so you get to see what was happening early, and then you see again what's happening early this morning. Okay, so that's under view settings, compact mode. We could turn that off, and we're back to where we were. So nice, easy way to see where things are and get an update on the movement of the market, that type of stuff. Over here, under the updates, we were just on intraday. Now we're going to take a look at most recent. So what this is going to do is tell us where we are right now in terms of where that actual value is in our last run. So we're going to get our straddle prices right here for the most part. Then we have our settle. Okay, and then it's going to tell us what our at the money volatility is now, where our settle volatility is, and how much difference it was, and then when the last time this got updated. Okay, so this is just going to basically give you what we typically call a straddle run. Okay, so it's where the levels were set at the particular time. Okay, so and then here again you see if I check this box, my weeklies will show up here. So again, this is sort of best described as a straddle run, the most recent straddle run, whereas the intraday page is the whole series of straddle runs that have taken place. And then under the sheet section, we have a straddle sheet. So this is going to give us basically a pricing sheet for the straddles that we have in all of our expiration. So this is similar to what you've seen in the other areas for pricing sheets, but this is just going to be a pricing sheet with purely our straddle information. So again, you see your days per expiration, your futures, your vol, your values, your straddle value, as well as your Greeks. All right, and again, we can control what's going on here in the expiration group filter. And then a little bit more of a comprehensive sheet here. It gives you some open interest information, some volatility information, and some change in OI. So again, it's another way of looking at things. So we keep them all in one place, so it's fairly simple to sort of fan through there if you're thinking of something else, like you happen to be on the straddle sheet and you want to say, well, how much did that OI change? Was there a lot of activity there? You can see that pretty quickly from here without having to go into another section of the site. Okay, so that's our intraday activity at the money updates page. Our next thing that we'll look at is the market data. Now this one is really an informational tool. Okay, so we currently are not, there's no interactivity here other than being able to export the information that's showing. And when I say interactivity, meaning there's nothing here that a professional can do to affect change within the system or to accept the volatility levels as they are, right? So this is just purely showing you based on a couple things, and those are the following. So QSIV, quick strike implied volatility, that's our white smoke or gray line. QSIV settle, that's our blue line. And then our dark blue line is our market implied volatility line. So what that's doing is it's taking the out of the money puts, which are the purple spots, and the out of the money calls, which are our red, not spots the wrong word, our red squares, and it's fitting a curve to those current market points. So what you're seeing, this blue curve, is what the current market looks like, and then what that current market looks like in comparison to QSIV, which is what we have in the system right now. So you see that there's a little bit of there's not much of a shift in terms of the at the money price, right? Here's our current at the money. Our gray line is kind of intersecting our dark blue line. So there's not much a shift in terms of the volatility levels, but there is a little bit of a shift in the skewing. So the puts seem to be a little cheaper here in the market than they were in the open, and the calls seem to be a little bit more expensive. So that's why we're going back and forth between deciding whether to do full skew updates, continue to do the straddle runs, because we want to give people the best information, but at the same time, we want to make sure that it's simple to understand and we can control the data a little bit as easily as possible. Okay, so this gives you a good idea to see what the current, these are, and again, these are bid ask mid prices of bid ask values, and they're delayed 10 minutes, but it's showing you what the market has in store for us from an implied volatility standpoint versus what our curve looks like. So at a minimum, you can come in here and take a look and see if you feel like the wings are a little bit out of whack in terms of being a little low or a little high with the prices that you're seeing in the system. Okay. Then we have another chart, which is just going to plot the at the money market implied volatility versus the settlement. So wherever you see things drop down to the zero level, these are not surprisingly the weeklies, and then some of the more liquid stuff. And you see that most of the liquidity is taking place in the short dated stuff. So we're seeing these blues are showing us our current quick strike implied volatility, and these yellows are showing us our market implied volatility. So we have markets available in a couple of the weeklies, and then the March contract, and then the D's contract. So to be honest with you, I don't use this one that much, but I want to explain it briefly, so I won't spend too much time on there. And then we have our sheet section, and this is our implied vol. So this is basically showing you delayed look at mid-market and bid-ask values, and then showing you the theoretical value, showing the difference between the mid and the theoretical value, so you could see if quick strike's off a bit in terms of what the market's currently reading in the skew or the at the money. And this is going to give you both information for the calls and the puts, and pretty good piece of information here when you're starting to do some investigation with skew shifts and that type of thing intraday. Okay. Then finally, a simpler version of that bid ask page is here. Again, it's giving the volatilities associated with those bid asks as well. So one is giving you more of the implied volatility and the differences between the mids. This one is giving you the bid ask vol, again, give you an idea if you're trying to figure out where the right level should be, or just even how wide a market is from a volatility standpoint. It's always useful. And then the sheet with the at the money implied volatility is just going to take all the at the monies and basically do the same thing that you saw before. Take a look at the bid ask and give you the theoretical value and then show you some differences between the two. Okay, so of these two pages, on this market data page, I typically spend all my time on the implied vol page if I'm coming over here, because I want to basically see where the markets look like from a market implied volatility mid-curve fitting in comparison to what Quick Strike has, right? So I get to tell whether the skew is changing today, that type of thing. So I spend most of my time here. Okay, I can also export here. I have some settings, but I generally don't change these. Refresh will just update it'll get the latest delayed bid asks and redo and refit this curve. So you can always just refresh and see where it is. But generally speaking, this is what you see is going to be the best market information you're going to get for that's available at that time. And then on the ATM updates, I spend most of my time on this intraday and this most recent. The intraday, so I can get an idea of how the market's moving intraday, and then the most recent, so I want to know, hey, where was the setting? Where was the setting last done? I can go and see where the straddle run was very easily on this most recent tab. Okay, and then the next one we'll take a look at, we're only going to look at volume chart and volume matrix. We're going to leave the block trades alone, like I mentioned earlier. Volume chart is basically going to tell you, hey, this is what's happened in the electronic market from a volume standpoint. Okay, so you can come in here and look at any of the expirations and see what kind of activity they're having there. And then you could also look at a summary, which is going to show you all the activity across the entire options trading spectrum here. So you can see that March has the most contracts. It seems to be biased towards puts versus calls. If I click on that, I can confirm that and see my put call ratio is 1.67. So pretty significant difference there in terms of total total volume intraday for that. Okay, and it also tells you which are the out of the monies or in the monies that are trading. So this is a good set of information just on the aggregate. Individually, it's great, but I like looking at an aggregate because it really gives me a good idea of what's going on. And then finally, under intraday activity, we have this volume matrix. The volume matrix is basically going to give you all the information that we saw there, but in a matrix format. So in this case, I have volume call set, but if I do total volume, now I'll start to see bigger numbers here, okay? And then I can get a nice idea of what's happening to the market in general, okay? And here, if I turn on this expiration group filter, I can get my weeklies. Okay, if I turn on auto calculate, I can say show row totals and it'll tell me the volume across an individual strike over here. And if I turn on this show column totals, I can see the volume across the entire expiration as well as across the expiration group, which is essentially means all the expirations that go to the March futures contract. So these are the futures up top, and these are the contracts associated with each of the futures. So we have 3 with the March, and then some of the weeklies go to the June, and then there's SEP and DSER by themselves. Again, these are clickable. I can click on this and get a futures contract information. I can click on these and I can get the individual expiration pop-ups again. So I really like this screen. It gives a nice overview and you're able to see a lot of different information here just from selecting in the drop down. So you can get call specific stuff, put specific, and then totals as well. And it'll even show you in the money volume versus out of the money volume. So it's really useful if you're looking to decipher what the activity is in the market. And then you'll see if you see red, that means that the volume in that strike is down from yesterday. Green means it's up from yesterday, and black means that's an opening strike, and black and blue means it's an opening strike. Okay, so these are interesting pages if you spend some time and taking a look at them. And again, these are clickable, so you can get historical charts of what the strike traded during the day, so you can get a good idea when the trade was, what the size was, the occurrences at those, and also the occurrences at that price, at the different prices. So interesting stuff can be seen here. You got that for both the call and the put, and then if you want to see the specific data that traded, you can see that and when that data traded as well. Okay, so these are a little bit different than the than the strike cells in some of the other places, because these are talking specifically to the information associated with volume. Okay, so that's our coverage of intraday activity. I hope that that was helpful. And like I said, there's one or two tabs here where I spend most of my time investigating. One here, and then I like looking at these charts when I'm really trying to get a feel for what's going on in the market from a volume standpoint on any given day. So thanks again for taking the time to watch these videos, and I hope they are helpful, and keep coming back, because there's about 13 more left for the month. So look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.